Happy Saturday morning. Welcome, educators, to our very special event, Creativity and Student Voice, with the Adobe for Education team, Flipgrid team, and ISTE team. We're so excited for you to be here today. And oh my goodness, I already see 105 people already in the chat. So if you're just joining us on this lovely Saturday morning, please introduce yourself, where you're joining us from in the world, and what you teach. So today we have some very special guests. We'll be talking about some special announcements from Adobe for Education, from Flipgrid, and how to integrate creativity and empower student voice in your class. We'll also be hearing some special announcements from the ISTE team, since ISTE is just a week away. I can't even believe it. So we're looking forward to discussing that. But for those who I haven't met, my name is Clara, and I lead our educator community programs here at Adobe. And I'm going to hand it off to my partner in crime, Miss Tanya Averth, to introduce herself.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome this early, for some of you, Saturday morning. We are so appreciative to have all of you here today. And I'm super excited because I get to introduce in just a moment our first few guests, but I work on the education and evangelism team here at Adobe. And yeah, welcome.
We love it.
Move it over.
I'll say thank you, Tanya. Hello, everyone. My name is Adam. I work on the Flipgrid team, and I am so excited to be joining you all today. We're gonna have a fun hour, and so as Clara and Tanya mentioned, chat in the chat. If you're on Twitter, tweet out, use the hashtag. Tanya and Clara, back me up. Adobe for EDU, Adobe Creative.
Adobe EDU Creative.
And we're going to be announcing some giveaways in a second. So
yes. So tweet out hello, hashtag Flipgrid for all. Just tag, at Flipgrid, at Adobe, get us all. We're so excited, and we're gonna have a fun time. So I look forward to this collaborative hour with you. Or if you're joining in the future, hello from the past. And we hope you enjoy. Jen, over to you.
I'll bring it down. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Williams. So excited to spend Saturday with this incredible group from Adobe and Flipgrid and ISTE. Can't wait to introduce you to some of our favorite educators a little bit later in the hour and to share with you some of the fun things we've been working on with our teams collaboratively. So I'm going to pass it over to Jornay.
Jornay, you're muted.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jornay Armand, Head of Educator Innovation at Flipgrid. And as everyone already mentioned, there's so much excitement with ISTE and Flipgrid and Adobe, and we can't wait to unveil what we have in store for you. So I'll pass it over to my teammate, Anne.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to have this conversation, not only with the Adobe for EDU team, my friends and teammates at Flipgrid, but of course, ISTE. I'm so excited. And I just saw a comment saying, it's like connecting with friends from all around the world. So thank you for being here this morning for this awesome conversation. And we're going to go down to Carmelita, down there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm supporting. Look at that. We're supporting all of you. Hello, everybody. Carmelita Seitz, Director of ISTE Certification at ISTE. Honored to be here with Flipgrid as well as Adobe and everybody who's on the call. So super excited to see all the creativity and get you pumped up for next week because, yes, we will have the ISTE conference next week. So hello, everybody.
So we're so excited to kick this off. And did we get to everybody?
Oh, Jen. See, no.
No, I went earlier. I think I moved. I think my little square moved around. So
well, I was down here and now I'm
Carmelita and I passed it up. So
well, Jen, speaking of, we have some very special giveaways that we are going to provide to educators who are commenting in the chat or tweeting with the hashtag Adobe EDU Creative. We are going to pick 2 winners who have shared some of the highlights and learnings from today's session. So Jen, do you want to share what we'll be giving away in just an hour?
I am so thrilled about this. I know I've been hearing Clara, you and Rebecca and the team talking about this special creative educator box for months now, and mine just so happened to arrive yesterday. So my box came, and inside the box, I just did an unboxing this morning on Instagram and Twitter, so you'll have to check it out. But I am a creative educator shirt. There is a pack of design challenge cards, which the green screen's kind of playing with them. There's stickers, there's a poster, activities for you to do with your students in the classroom, and everything for you to get connected in the Adobe Creative Educator community. So stay tuned. I know we're going to be picking 2 lucky winners, so be sure to keep tweeting out, sharing on social media with all of the hashtags today, and thank you again for being with us.
Awesome. So we're so excited to give away 2 of those boxes. So again, keep tweeting, keep sharing. Ultimately, we are all better together. So to be able to share some of the learnings from today, you're going to be hearing several great panels and some special highlights for the ISTE conference next week. So before we go ahead and get started, I am going to hand it off to Tanya, who has our first panel. And I see Adam is there holding his mic too.
Awesome. We're so excited. And we have our very first panel coming up right now with Jornay and Jen. So I'm going to welcome my 2 colleagues in right now. And we're going to be discussing a little bit more about the Discovery Library partnership. So let's kick it off. We're just going to get them on. Fantastic. So welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jen and Jornay. And so happy to have you guys here and share a little bit more about the work behind the scenes that's been happening between Adobe and Flipgrid. So Jornay, can you share with us about the new partnership that we've been working on so diligently over the last few months?
Yeah, well, what's really cool is that this partnership began with friendships, right? And so I remember meeting Tanya at ISTE a couple years ago and visiting her classroom in Florida. And we had some talks about how we could really bring together creativity and student voice. So last year, we actually hosted an event in Florida, and that was the beginning of a beautiful partnership. Since then, we have worked together with Adobe to ensure that anytime you as educators create topics inside of Flipgrid, you can actually use an Adobe resource as your topic media focus. And then, of course, after we launched that, we started thinking, how can we also bring more creativity to the classroom inside of Flipgrid? And that's where our Discovery Library comes in. So if you're not familiar with it, Discovery Library is that place where educators can either share their topics or find new topics created by others, such as partners like Adobe. And so we have launched a brand new collection. So let's actually share the screen right now, and I'll show exactly where you can find this. So inside of Discovery, what you'll notice is that we'll have lots and lots of partners, and Adobe is one of those partners. So on the partner page, what you'll find is information about Adobe, how you can get connected with Adobe. You'll see their popular topics, and then you'll see these incredible collections that they've curated with their topics. One of those collections will be the ISTE aligned standard digital literacy collection. Now, this is what we're going to be discussing today. These are wonderful resources that 100% aligns to those ISTE standards. So we are so thankful, and Jen's going to talk a little bit more about how this part all got started, but this is how you can access all of the wonderful resources created by our friends at Adobe.
Oh, I love these resources. They're super quick. They're super easy to use. And they're so great for this time of year as we're kind of winding down for the holidays coming up. So I'm super, super excited. So Jen, I know that, you've done a lot of work behind the scenes to kind of get these set up from the Adobe side. Would you like to share a little bit more about the collections of lessons?
I'd love to. So it's been great working with Team Flipgrid and Journée, especially. Thank you for all of your support in getting these lessons up over the past few months. So you probably saw when Journée was getting us into the Adobe library, we have 4 collections now. So our first 3, Seeking Perspectives, Constructing Ideas, and Creative Expression. So those were created with lessons from the Adobe Educator Exchange. So teachers all over the world who've been creating lessons on topics for students all the way from kindergarten and primary up through university. And so what we did in preparation and in celebration for ISTE this year is we invited some of our creativity crew. So we have 50 educators. These are our awesome creativity crew members who are doing work out in classrooms around the world. And we asked them to create ISTE standard aligned lessons for teachers. So in the digital literacy collection, we have lessons for K-12 around topics like social activism, multimedia, poetry, infographics, even how to build a strong password. And so these are grab and go lessons. Teachers can go in, they're all free, they're all accessible. You can take them, modify them, edit them up with your classrooms and make them your own. So they're all there ready to go. And today we have 4 of those amazing creativity crew educator authors joining with us to share a little bit more on the work they've been doing.
And I just want to thank you, Jen, and the whole creativity crew for coming together for these topics. Because as Jen mentioned, the only thing you need to do as an educator is go to Discovery Library, find that Adobe partner tile, and once you click inside the collection, you'll see each one of these topics, and we make it really easy. You can share them with your colleagues, you can save them to your class discussions, or you can save them to a collection to use later on. So lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to actually work on one of the lessons with Felisa, who will be on in a little bit. And what I love about them is that they're really creative and they're really, really not meant to take up tons of time in your lesson, but they're also hitting on such valuable skills, which are the ISTE standards. So that those are the collections with the ISTE. And then the other ones are wonderful because they're a bit bigger projects, but they're super creative and they tie in so many literacy skills between Adobe and Flipgrid. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so excited about this partnership and I'm so excited to see what else we'll be coming out with. So stay tuned, everybody, because we are so much better together, as Jorney mentioned, and we are such good friends. So we love to be able to partner with our friends at Flipgrid with you. And yeah, so thank you. And thank you, Jen, so much for leading on this project. You've done such a great job on them. I'm so impressed with how you pulled this all together. So thank you both. And we're actually gonna now move on to our next set of guests. So I'm super thrilled to be able to introduce and hand it off to Clara and Anne. So I will bring them in. Hey, Clara and Anne and Carmelita. Hello, my dear. I'm so excited that you're here. So I'm gonna pop off. I'll let Clara take it from here. Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good. And before we move over, Tanya, a quick question we had in the chat here about grade levels for the different resources that we have available. So one educator in particular asked about kindergarten resources. So the resources we just saw in the library, what grade levels are they applicable to?
I just pulled Jen back in. Hey, Jen. Jen was the one who curated them in there. So the ones that we curated, were there kindergarten ones?
So, all right, we have these 14 lessons. There are 7 ISTE student standards. So we have 7 for primary and 7 for secondary. So we are K through 12 on these lessons for you all.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Awesome. All right, I'll remove you and I will remove myself. I'll see you guys in just a bit. Bye, everybody. Oh, don't forget to tweet Don't forget to tweet. Bye.
Perfect. Well, I can't believe how much the chat is blowing up right now. We have over 570 educators participating in the chat. So I'm so happy that you're able to join us this Saturday morning. And we're going to move on to talking a little bit about ISTE standards. So we all know that ISTE is coming up next week, and we'll have the ability to participate online with educators from around the world. But I have my special co-moderator with me today, Ms. Ann Cosma, joining us from Flipgrid, and then Carmelita Seitz joining us from ISTE. But to kick it off, Carmelita, what are the ISTE standards, and why are they important to educators?
No, that's a great question. And before I get started, I just want to do a quick shout out to Madeline Craig. She is ISTE certification going through that, and she did a shout out in the chat. So super happy to see those educators. So the ISTE standards are for educators, for students, for leaders, coaches, really around teaching and learning with educational technology. And they're a set of frameworks that guide instruction and learning and really move educators to think about the intentional use of technology, as well as for leaders and coaches, and how do we support in that intentional use of technology. So they're really nice frameworks that build upon each other and also move your thinking beyond just the sit and get and just using a tool to use it, but really having that thought behind it. And the ISTE standards started with the NET standards, the student standards in 1998. So if you really think back, 1998 having those student standards. And then from that, the release of the administrator and teacher standards in 2000 and 2001. And they've gone through revisions and iterations because we know that technology changes and different technology scopes change. And so the ISTE standards are those living standards that work with where we are in using technology and those who are passionate about driving education and learning with the use of technology. So those frameworks are set for all categories of educators that support learning.
I was just going to say, Carmelita, I love how you not only gave some of the history and how they came to be, but as a coach in my own district, I mean, my team knows this about me. I always have a resource to dig into the ISTE standards and have that conversation. Always have those resources at my fingertips. But I'm so excited to kind of dig into this a little bit more as we talk about using the ISTE standards to reflect future student success, what that might look like in higher ed, in the workforce, and beyond. So I'd love it if you could speak to that a little bit and dig into, I guess, as we all roll forward with the way we're utilizing technology to empower our students, not only as, global collaborators, as digital citizens, as empowered learners, innovative designers, but right, you can stretch your ed practice, but what does it mean for students regarding the ISTE standards?
Definitely. And like we were saying, I love the power you were talking, empowering student learning, and that's what we're doing. And so the standards for students, starting, with the end in mind, the standards for students are really bringing the students in control and in power of their learning and allowing them to think deeper, think critically, using technology. So instead of just the technology that's forefront, it's what can we do to empower ourselves as students, that's what your students want to think about with the use of technology, knowing the technology is going to change. And so it's not focusing on one specific tool, but the learning that will come out of that with using that particular tool. And then the set of standards for educators and coaches and administrators, they complement the student standards. So what do we need as educators to understand for our own learning and for our own instruction to allow the students to have that power and growth in what they're doing? Like the knowledge constructor for students. I mean, it's just amazing at what you can have your students do when they're given voice and choice and the opportunity to critically look at something and expand on that. So it really allows for not only creativity for the educator, and that's what we see with the certification, but really letting go of that control and saying, here, it's in your hands and we're going to guide you with that. And that really brings them to be able to be successful when they're beyond K-12. And like you were saying, Anne, in higher ed and then in the job force for them.
Absolutely. And looking at some of these ISTE standards and even thinking about within the workforce, I even think about my day-to-day work and the skill sets that we're looking for colleagues in future hiring and how we're really preparing students for success in the future. But, transitioning a little bit more towards educators and instruction, this has been such a challenging year. And I see all 550 plus educators in the chat. We're here with you. We feel for you. This has been a very challenging year, whether you're now back in the classroom or teaching virtually. When it comes to the ISTE standards, how can we make sure that, we're incorporating them to set students up for success within instruction, no matter what that classroom environment looks like?
Definitely. And so really the first piece, and thank you for bringing up the standards for educators. The first piece is reading them, seeing what they are. And what you're going to really see is these are good teaching practices with and without technology. And so of course we're ISTE and it's the use and the passion behind incorporating that technology, but the ISTE standards are really good teaching and learning. And so really as an educator, going to the standards, reading through them, reading the indicators, unpacking them to what that vocabulary means and really kind of diving deep. We have great resources around the student standards and what they look like. We have student standard videos that were just recently released and just really seeing what that looks like and having that intention behind using technology and using those digital tools. And so really as an educator they're free for educators going and seeing the standards, reading through them and seeing what can I do to expand, deepen learning and to really think about why do I want to do this? Why do I want to use technology? There always should be that why. The how will come easy, but what is the why? Why do we want to use this particular tool or integrate this technology? So starting off by just reading them and getting familiar with them and then sharing them with colleagues and sharing them with each other so that you have a thought partner behind that and your coaches. So that's important too, just to start off with that.
I love that too. I love that. And it really truly is a better together mindset as we're growing forward as professionals, either increasing awareness or using that newfound understanding. Your point about even just digging in and reading them, that's a great starting point. If folks want to dig deeper and be recognized for their work or become certified in the ISTE standards, what can they do? How can they do this?
I am so glad that you said that, Anne. So in 2017, the ISTE standards for educators, the refresh were released. They were the ISTE standards for teachers before, and the ISTE standards for educators in 2017. And in 2018, we released the ISTE certification for educators. And so educators can show off their use of educational technology and their use of the standards in practice through this certification. And we have had thousands of educators since 2018 go through this certification and become certified. And so it is a rigorous certification in the sense that we're really going to have you dive deep into your own practice. And I think, Anne, you had mentioned the word revise and reflect and refresh. Look at what you're currently doing and then dive deep into the standards and say, how can I do this differently? How can I put a new layer on it? How can I change my mindset with these standards? With the core group of community of educators who are going through the program, and the power behind it is absolutely amazing. And so you can become ISTE certified. We have multiple authorized providers who provide the certification. And due to remote learning, now it's fully online. And we are global, just so everybody knows. We have thousands of educators within the certification who are all over the world. I think in 36 different countries. And so the community is just amazing at what they do. So show off your skills, show off what you're doing. Come join ISTE certification and all the community that we have.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing and reminding us it is a global program too. So folks literally around the world digging in together. I love that.
Thank you. It is great.
And absolutely. And if you are in the chat and you have ISTE certification or you're working on ISTE certification, please share with us. We'd love to kind of hear what your experiences are like. I want to pull up this comment from Angelo. I love this. It's really important to start with the why, not only with the use of technology in education, but in all aspects of life. A really powerful quote to kick off our morning, and love all the use of the hashtags. So thanks for sharing that, Angelo. But Carmelita, before we kind of move on to the next panel, is there any way if folks have more questions or want to get in touch with you, is there a Twitter handle you want to share or email address?
Definitely. So first and foremost, if you're going to the ISTE conference, we have an ISTE certification booth. So come and ask your questions, and I will be on to kind of guide you. Another piece is if you want to find me on Twitter, it's actually my first name spelled backwards, but my first name has an A at the end. So it's Attila Marak, spelled backwards, and you can definitely follow me on there. And then my email is csites, so it's my first letter, and then sites@iste.org. I love educators who are interested. I will definitely help you on the journey, help those who are going through the journey. I've seen some people in the chat saying, oh, we're going through. Everybody knows that I am super passionate. And Clara, you know, because we've talked before, I am beyond passionate to get everybody who wants to be ISTE certified to understand the standards, use them in their practice. I am committed to each and every one. So we are going to have just a global family, right, Anne? A global family that understands the best use of educational technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, and there's Mary. Mary, she's working on it still. She says it's not easy, but very engaging, and you will grow. Yes. Yes. Awesome.
We're loving this feedback. We'll continue to post in the chat, and thank you again, a fabulous co-moderator, Anne, and Carmelita, our very special guest, for coming on. We're going to switch over to our next panelists. So first off, I'm going to bring those folks on, but we have my very best colleague, Tanya Averett, and Adam Short Shorts joining us. So they are going to kick it off with our next panelist, Monica now. And so I'll let you take it from here. Oh, of course. It's like in the classroom, you know, it's the same.
And I think, Adam, you're also muted, which is hilarious. There you are. Okay. And you're still muted, which is...
I'm up mute now. Here I am.
Okay. Well, hello, Adam. It's so great to have you here with me. And I'm so excited to introduce our next panel of guests. Let's bring them in. We have Monica Burns and Al Thomas, who are joining us this morning. Hey, guys.
Hi there.
Oh my gosh. So I want you guys to just take a quick moment and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do. I'll start right here with Al, and then Al going to pass it on to Monica.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Al Thomas. I go by EducoPilot just about everywhere in the social media world. Super excited to be here. I am an educational consultant and focus on helping school districts integrate creativity into the classroom, and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you. And we love your work. You do beautiful work. So thank you. And then
Well,
we have...
hello. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know which side I'm on for you in the Brady Bunch squares, right? But excited to be here with you all today. My name is Monica Burns. I'm a ed tech and curriculum consultant and former New York City public school teacher. So still here on the East Coast and working with educators in different corners of the country, a couple international spots too, thinking about creativity in the classroom. Big fan of Flipgrid and big fan of the Spark tools and all things Adobe. So real excited to be here with you today.
I see something behind you that seems very interesting.
Yeah. It makes it easier to point to things as I'm talking with my hand.
Yeah, I think
I am.
like a very heavy duty Adobe Spark fan. Oh, actually, Al too. I'm gonna say is probably also. Yes. So and we're so thrilled to have you here. And I'm actually gonna kind of kick off with Monica. I know a great deal of your work centers on student engagement and creative expression of ideas in the classroom. I mean, you have this amazing website. You've like dedicated your life to this. How are educators using the ISTE standards along with tools like Adobe Spark and Flipgrid to empower students in learning? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so one big thing that I'm seeing with the ISTE standards, I love the ISTE standards and think they're such a great vehicle for conversations. And that's also where I bring them in a lot in the work that I know I do with teachers. It becomes a place for us to get a good common vocabulary around something. We all kind of have a feeling of what is great or what we want to bring in, but what does it look like in action? And how can we plan together with that in mind? So, the teacher standard around being a designer. So we all know that personalizing learning experiences is important. We know that we want to work to meet the needs and interests of different students. Well, here's how we kind of can come together and say, this is very important, right? This is something that we're committed to. And so I love having that language from a professional planning perspective, which is a lot of the work that I do with educators, but then also to step back and say, where do we want our students to be, or what do we want them to be able to do? And so having standards directly for students like creative communicator and getting kids to make something where they're synthesizing from various sources and making something that's brand new. So talking about their learning experiences, sharing it in a space like Flipgrid is so powerful. And then of course with the Spark tools, getting kids to pause, create something, maybe make a few different iterations, have choice in the way that they share. It's really powerful. And I love that the ISTE standards give us some vocabulary to have some thoughtful conversations around it.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
I love it. I love it. And so, and Monica, you're talking about student empowerment, and I think that, I mean, student empowerment has always been so important, and this year especially. And Al, so if we could build on, you and Felicia have made that incredible Adobe lesson in Flipgrid, the Voices of Justice activity for scholars. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing to just kind of expand on what is in student empowerment in 2020. How does social justice and social activism fit into K-12 curriculum? What does that look like?
Yeah, great question. I think it's one of those things where, first of all, the activity, it was great putting the activity together and being able to dive into developing resources that these types of conversations can happen, and we can have an ongoing dialogue. I really feel like it's really important for educators to understand these are not conversations, these are not thoughts, these are not activities that we should shy away from. We really need to lean in and create space for students to be able to process and fully understand all of the issues and things that we are dealing with in 2020, and from years from the past as well. I think it's really important for us to understand that these are opportunities for our students to really think critically about our thinking about the U.S. and thinking about our nation's history, and just globally just kind of the challenges that people that have been marginalized for a very long time have dealt with. So I think in the classroom, it's really important to be able to find those opportunities and create those opportunities for conversations to happen, for students to dive into and investigate some of the things that are happening. I think it's really important for us to create those space. So it's creating those dialogues, getting them to be able to reflect on moments in history, and really understand what was happening and how those things came to be and how we can address those issues so that they don't happen again. So I really think it's important to create space. I think it's one of those things of having the dialogue and being open to address a lot of maybe the biases and the challenges that we have in our own life that we maybe have not addressed before, and giving students that safe space to be able to really dive in and understand that they can make a difference and make an impact. So I'd say those are great ways to empower our students and get them moving forward in this opportunity. And one last point I would just say, it's really important to remember that a lot of these movements and things that have happened throughout history, they've happened with young people. And I think when we create that space for them, it's really us getting out of the way. It's not necessarily empowering them, but it's really saying, hey, I understand that you see something that needs to change. How can I empower you to be able to make the impact that you see that needs to happen? So an important part of the process of being an educator, but I think it's important for us to create that space for students.
No, totally. I once heard Alan November say something about empathy and like that empathy can be taught. I remember that quote really stuck out to me, and I like, it just resonates so much what you're just saying, and just the idea of like having those conversations and understanding that like empathy is something that you can model, you can encourage, like that is, you know, understanding perspective is so important and it can be taught. So thank you. Well, I know that both of you are, and this is going to sound funny, but like you're kind of like ISTE old timers, but you're not, but you are, you know. And so, you know, you've been to many ISTE events. I'm almost scared to ask how many both of you have probably been to over the years. Yeah, exactly. And so, this is an interesting year for people who are going to be attending ISTE, because for so many, you know, paying for a flight and paying for a hotel is like so expensive. And this year, ISTE is virtual. And so what advice would you give to educators who are joining for this year's special virtual conference?
Yeah, I guess I can go first.
Yeah.
I will say, I think the big thing, and I think this is something that we all need to keep in mind in 2020, is just having empathy. And so I think we're in an era where I'm just waiting for a kid to run in here. So I just want to be prepared for that. But I think across the board, when we're attending events, and especially a virtual event, engage. It's really important for us to have that empathy when we come in and understand that this is a different environment for speakers. This is a different environment for people who are attending, and being able to engage in the conversation within those sessions, being able to ask questions so that you can really get something valuable out of those sessions is really important. And just be okay if things happen that kind of throw things off. If technology doesn't work exactly like it's supposed to, we're all dealing with this, and just a little bit of empathy will go a long way.
I love that. And I will add on there with a tip of mine that I think has been, you know, something I try to do when I'm in live events, but has been especially helpful for virtual events, is the hashtag. So whether you're following ISTE's hashtag, whether you're following the Adobe EDU Creative or Flipgrid for All, that when I'm at a live face-to-face event, it's been so helpful for figuring out the buzz, what people are excited about, where I want to make sure to check in, or who I want to meet up with. And the same thing goes for virtual. So, you know, having that as an opportunity to see what people are chatting about, what they're excited about, that might help you, you know, craft your own schedule or your to-do list during a virtual event, just like it would if we were all face-to-face.
Brilliant. Well, so then on that note, Monica, we see your Twitter handles. How else can we get connected with you two, especially Monica and Al and Tanya during ISTE Week?
Yeah, so I know that I'll be sharing out at Class Tech Tips is the name of my blog, and it's all of my social handles. So I know I was trying to snap some Instagram updates this morning with all the special things happening today. All right, so the same thing will go throughout the ISTE event. So if you are following along, feel free to tag me in anything. And I know I'm really excited about the virtual conference.
Yeah, and you can follow me either on Instagram, Twitter, at EduCopilot, and my website, educopilot.com. Typically, I encourage people that if you're into photography, Instagram is a great way to kind of check out some of the things I'll be capturing and maybe showing some behind the scenes throughout ISTE. So.
Love that. I love that. Thank you two so much. And thank you, Tanya, for this fun conversation and important conversation. And so we're just so grateful. I look forward to, continuing to connect in digital world and one day again, connect in the physical world together. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And with that, so now I'm going to throw over to my friends, Jornay and Jen, who will be, I'll let them introduce their special guest. But thank you again, Alan, Monica. Thank you, Tanya. And now let's welcome in Jornay and Jen with Jornay. I'll let you say.
You know, what is so incredible right now is it's the educator standards is educators as leaders. So to Al and Monica, and also our upcoming guests, Jeff and Felisa, just thank you so much for just being on that shared mission of empowering learning for students with technology and being the advocates really for equitable access. And that's what these topics are really all about. Every student, no matter where you are in the world, can have access when their teacher adds these to their topics. So with that being said, Jen, you want to introduce our two guests?
am so excited. Hey, Felisa. Hey, Jeff. Welcome to the fun. It's so nice to see you. Jornay, as I was watching the last session and now joining in here with all of you, I was thinking about when we originally came together, Team Flipgrid, Team Adobe, and we said, you know what, ISTE's coming up, and what we're missing out on is that time together where we get to go out to dinner, we're walking around the streets, whatever city we're in at ISTE. So like, I feel like we're getting that vibe here. We get to see all of our friends. So I'm really, really looking forward to our next panel with two of our amazing Adobe Creative educators who just authored two of our lessons in the Flipgrid library, Jeff Glade and Felisa Ford. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Happy to have you here. We'd love to have you introduce yourself before we jump into the questions. Felisa, maybe we'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Felisa Ford. I'm a digital learning specialist with Atlanta Public Schools and also an ed tech consultant. And I am so happy to be here with you, Jornay and Jen, two of my favorite people, and Jeff, one of my Adobe educator crew members. So happy to be here.
Thanks, Felisa. And Jeff, welcome.
Hi, yeah, thank you. My name is Jeff Glade. I'm an instructional technology consultant. I work for Heartland Area Education Agency in Central Iowa, so I support about 20 districts in Central Iowa with technology integration. And I am also so happy to be here and join you, and I'm excited for the lessons we're learning and the lessons we're looking at, and I've already been taking notes furiously.
And I saw you tweeting too, Jeff. So you're using those hashtags and getting it out there. Awesome. Well, Jornay and I have a few questions for you all today. We're so excited to share. Jornay, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, and so with student ISTE standards, we know the importance of students having that autonomy to choose the media that works best for them. So Jeff, we are so excited about your lesson on multimedia poetry. Can you share just a little bit about how you came up with this lesson, as well as how you created it to really maximize the engagement for your students?
Yeah, of course. So the ISTE standard that I was working with was creative communicator, which is something that always stands out to me. I think that our kids are natural creative storytellers by nature, especially in today's world with all the different social medias. They're telling stories. If you get on TikTok, you're seeing stories told in creative ways that I could never imagine. So that's kind of their realm. And so they're creating, but how can we bring that and tie that to standards is something I'm really interested in. I taught 5th grade for many years. I taught 3rd grade, and I was also a media specialist. And when we would get to the poetry standards, that was always a time where I saw some kids dial back their interest. For whatever reason, it wasn't always connecting with them. So I was always trying to figure out how can we make poetry something that's going to be a little bit more engaging for them. We have some poetry. Kwame Alexander comes to mind right now, who's really writing some incredible things that bring kids into that. But nonetheless, how can we connect to a wider audience possibly with our kids? And when I was looking at that creative communicator standard, the indicator that customizes the message in medium, for intended audience really stuck out. How can we help kids take a poem and create it in such a way, or reinterpret it in such a way that it is maybe a little more engaging for their intended audience, which in this case might be their peers. And so we have a graphic organizer. We can take a poem, they break it up step by step, and for each line, they can brainstorm an image that might support that, or tied directly, explicitly to what the image is, or what the line is saying, or maybe a little more symbolically or tonally. And from there, they can then, of course, they have a lot of choice with the music that Adobe Spark offers. There's that incredible library of images that they can use that are free to use, of course. We're not worried about copyright when we're staying within that Adobe Spark playground kind of, and they can bring in all those different elements that kind of tailor it to what they are feeling, and again, toward their audience, which I really love. It really keeps it engaging when they can tie it to what's interesting to them, but also keeping that audience in mind. And I wanted to say that the lesson in the library is for the primary ages, so we can look at the primary standards that are really specific to sensory images and visualization. And then when they're reading their lines, they can be working on fluency and prosody, but we can also scale that up to the older kids, and they can get to a deeper interpretation, a deeper analysis of the poem. The poems that they're choosing could be self-written. They could be something that's already been created. As Al was talking, I made a note to ensure that I reference, we can bring in authors and poets who are Black and Indigenous people of color, LGBTQ authors, Indigenous authors, and we can help that perspective taking take place. They're creating a poem. They're really engaging in that creation piece and maybe understanding that author or that audience just a little bit more.
Yeah. And Jeff, thank you so much for just mentioning the flexibility with these topics. So although they may be written as primary or as secondary, you as an educator can use your creative knowledge to be able to either scale that up or maybe, you know, align things a little bit better for your grade level. So thanks for mentioning that.
Absolutely.
Let's shift over to you now, Felisa. And Jeff was sharing on his lesson for primary level students. And I know you and Tanya, you both are like knowledge constructors yourself, often collaborating and creating content. So you work together for this lesson that you created for secondary students. So fake news, can you spot the truth? And that's aligned to the ISTE standard number 3, which is, like you, knowledge constructor. So can you share a little bit on how you use that ISTE standard and all of them to help guide your instructional design? I know you're working with a lot of teachers in Atlanta and specifically too for this lesson. We'd love to hear that.
So yes, what we do, first of all, is we start with those standards, putting them front and center to help us design those lessons, to be able to pull out those skills that we need students to have, not only for now, but for the future. And we thought that this was so timely. Fake news, can you spot the truth? It is so important for students to be able to identify credible sources on the internet. And like Jeff said, that they are creating stories on social media, but students are also just consuming content. They're consumers of content, but we need them to be able to construct and create content. And so with this standard, we put this front and center. We wanted students to be able to not only go to the internet, but we wanted them to look at timely trending topics. And from that, we wanted them to be able to identify or create 3 headlines, because this is like 2 truths and a lie. Can you spot the lie? So we wanted them from the headlines pull 3 topics together. 2 had to be true, but they had to research it. So within this lesson, we provided resources also to help students to be able to navigate and to credibly source information that they pull. And one thing I have to say is that this is a skill that not only students need, but adults need it too. We've seen that, you know, some people just take for gospel, whatever they read on the internet, it has to be true. We want to make sure that we're teaching students that not everything is true. So you need to have credible sources. So after they've created this content, these headlines, and they've researched, then they want to create an image from Spark to go along with this headline. And after they've done that, they pull it all together by creating or constructing knowledge. And we move over to Flipgrid, and they present a newscast. They are presenting their news story, these headlines, to their classmates. And their classmates, they're really trying to trick their classmates to see if they can spot the fake news. So we just think we are so excited about this. I thought it was so timely with what we're seeing today. And we want to make sure the students have skills that prepare them not only for now, but for the future. And that's what this this lesson does. And these lessons are amazing in the Discovery Library. So I can't wait for everyone to go in and see what's there. Because my colleagues did a great job putting these together.
Awesome. And actually, our friends on the back end, if you can share my screen really quickly, we have some chat comments asking where can you find these incredible lessons that educators are sharing. So when you go to flipgrid.com, you're going to sign into your free educator account. And what you'll notice at the very top is a tab called Discovery. Inside of that tab, you'll find partners like Adobe with topics ready for you. So inside of this Adobe partner page, once again, here is that collection focus on the ISTE standards that we're speaking of right now, and you'll see the 14 topics that have been created from the 7 ISTE standards for students. And the ones that were highlighted today are right here. Here's that multimedia poetry and voices of social justice, and spotting fake news is down here. So they're ready for you. All you need to do is click on it, add it to your class discussions, and go. So thank you so much for asking that question. And now, Jeff and Felisa, how can everyone get connected with you and stay connected with you as they're learning from you?
So I'm easy to find on Twitter, guys. I'm at APSIT Felisa. I'm also on Instagram. But not only me, you can find other educators that follow Adobe, Flipgrid. You can just learn so much on Twitter and some of the other social media platforms.
Yeah, and I'm on Twitter as well at Glade Jeff. And I would just second what Felisa said, especially the Adobe Creativity crew. I've followed all that group of people, and I'm endlessly inspired by what they have to offer. So I would definitely encourage to look up those people and follow them.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you both. And thanks to Al and Monica too for joining us. I know Jornay and I have had so much fun loading these lessons in, and each of them has an example too. So all of our authors created a Spark with an example that the classroom teachers and their students can look to for inspiration. So I get messages from Jornay and she's like, this one's so good too. So we're so excited having fun going through them all. So Jeff and Felisa, thanks for being with us today. I'm sure we'll see you at ISTE next week.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you so much.
of course, online. So we'll talk to you very soon. So Jornay, I think we are about at the end. I think we should bring back our team. And I see Clara, everybody coming back in. So Clara, we'll pass it back over. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity for us to share with these educators and about these lessons as we prepare for ISTE.
Absolutely. And I've been seeing so many amazing comments and tweets in the chat, so much energy this morning. And we'll be announcing our winners of the Adobe Creative Educator boxes that have a t-shirt, a deck of cards for your students, and other materials soon. So a lot of great conversations. But before we dive into that, a couple exciting announcements that are coming up from Adobe. So for those of you who have not yet participated in the Adobe Creative Educator program, this is a global community and badging program for educators in every subject area and grade level. So I'll go ahead and post that in the chat, but you can earn a level 1 badge for 3 hours of professional development, or a level 2 badge for 6 hours of PD. And it's all aligned to Credly and Acclaim. So really great to be a part of that global community. And we have a weekly live stream show and other resources that we continue to share. But I also know we'll have some exciting announcements in 2021. So we'll be launching our level 3 of Adobe Creative Educator. And also, Tanya, I know there were some questions in the chat about Spark and integration with Flipgrid and Adobe. So I'll hand it off to you to share some of those.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Because my computer just went like freeze, psych.
You sound great.
Okay, good. I would notice while I was going through the Twitter feed that some people don't necessarily even know about Adobe Spark and how their schools can access it. So I'm just going to very quickly just share my screen. Or not. Clara?
Yes. Do you want me to pull it up?
Yes. Can you see it?
So I am not seeing it on here, but I can pull up Spark if you'd like me to.
Yeah, let's do that because my computer is just not like happy. I don't think I've turned it off in like 2 months in my defense.
I'm going to break. It's Saturday.
I know. It's like, it's been on for months. I don't think I've turned.
You guys see behind the scenes with live streams.
Yeah.
Here, do you want me to share the Spark education page?
So spark.adobe.com /edu. And I'm going to just kind of very quickly just tell you where to go and how you can sign up if you are looking to sign up with your school. So the first way you could sign up, as Claire's getting it set up, is you can have your school or district sign up for the district accounts. And these are all, they're connected through your Microsoft or your Google credentials. So they're great. You get access to all the upgraded features that usually you pay like $10 a month for free. And you are also getting the accounts, and they're COPA and FERPA compliant. So this means that you don't have to worry about Adobe sending any marketing emails. They're completely with all those privacy. You can have your students sign up. There's a limited release for you to have a specific account. It's a limited release. It's not open to everybody, and it's through Google. And all the specifications are actually on this page. So I highly recommend to see, because those would allow you to create your own classroom and your classroom accounts yourself. But as I mentioned, it's a limited release. So it's not open everywhere. Don't get mad at us. It's a test. So we're seeing, how viable it is. And, hopefully we'll be able to expand that as well. So yeah, definitely check that out at spark.adobe.com /edu if your school isn't set up. Truthfully, I bet you it is, and you don't even know it, which is sad. So you may already have it, and to test that out, you would just go to spark.adobe.com and sign in where it says school or a teacher or student, because there are so many people that have it at their districts and they don't know it. What? So definitely check that out.
And we even have, Rachel just shared, if you're based in London and are a London Grid for Learning school, Adobe Creative Cloud is included. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'll post our email here really quick. It's Adobe EDU community@adobe.com. Tanya and I personally answer those emails along with my colleague Leona Gaitis. So feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Perfect. Well, I also posted the Adobe Creative Educator program in the chat again. So again, that's our badging and professional development program that you can, here we go, and level 2 just launched. So it's bit.ly/Adobe Creative Educator. Check that out, get your badge, and share with the global community, all in the theme of better together. But without further ado, I will hand it off to, let's see, who are we next with? Journée to share some, Anne and Journée to share some updates with Flipgrid.
Hey. So I love hearing about all that awesome stuff coming up with Adobe. And we just wanted to share a few things regarding our excitement for ISTE. Journée, it's coming up so soon, isn't it?
Right around the corner, and we have so many fun things planned out.
Yeah, so not only are we excited for the Microsoft booth experience at ISTE, but we have some great sessions that we're going to be sharing. And I want to shout out not only to my colleague Journée, but to Jess, to Feli, our friend Iro, who just joined Team Flipgrid, as well as good friends like Jaditza Vijalba, Leticia Citizen, Kathy Krasnowski, our teammate Feli, did I say? Oh my gosh, we have 2 new ed leads. So we're so excited. Conversations about anywhere, anytime learning with Flipgrid, talking race, equity, and justice, using Flipgrid to create safe spaces for that, fresh ideas from innovative educators beyond the classroom with Flipgrid, and family engagement. So not only that, Journée, there's this epic karaoke thing happening right now, right?
Yeah, and wait, let's not forget about the accessibility and inclusion session too.
Thank you. Yes.
Phenomenal.
With our teammate Liz, who heads up accessibility at Flipgrid. I'm glad you caught that one because it's right on the screen in front of me and I missed it.
But yes, EdTech karaoke, oh my goodness. Now, if you've never been to physically at ISTE and witnessed EdTech karaoke, it is one of the best nights ever where educators just come together and just share some of their passions that are beyond the classroom sometimes. And sometimes that's your voice, singing, dancing, just enjoying, the scenes. And so we do have a Flipgrid topic that is available if you're interested in auditioning. That audition will be open until, I believe, November 25th.
Correct.
So, hop on there on that topic, share your voice in the most beautiful ways possible. Watch friends from all over the world also share, and we will have that live event on December 10th, where everyone around the world can now be a part of EdTech Karaoke. And I think that's the part that makes me so happy, because I remember those moments when I just couldn't get to ISTE, but now everybody can be there and everybody can share and everybody can just have a great time virtually together.
And shout out to Julie, who just said, wee, you bring the drums, I'll bring the energy, my friend. I love it. Almost 800 hours worth of engagement on that audition topic right now. So friends, we can't wait. Thank you so much for tuning in today to dig into these incredible topics about creativity and student voice. Jornay, I think we're going to pop it over to our friend Jen. Jen's coming back in to share a little bit. So
coming back in. All right, so ISTE coming up. We just wanted to share on behalf of Carmelita and all of ISTE, thank you for everything you've done to prepare for this incredible virtual ISTE event this year. So be sure to follow that hashtag ISTE20, and it will be coming up on November 29th through December 5th. And I'll bring back Clara and Tanya and the rest of our team here, because Clara, I know you just authored a blog post on the Spark blog that has some of your favorite sessions coming up, talking about creativity, student voice, all things Adobe and Flipgrid. So we can share that link. And we are going to be around all week with Team Flipgrid too. The week of ISTE, sharing on Twitter and social media. I know we have a lot of sessions coming up too, so can't wait.
Absolutely. And I'll go ahead and share the link, but we've highlighted some key sessions that are not to miss at ISTE. So I'll go ahead and post that in the chat. So be sure to check out that blog post. And you can see all other updates. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one last time before we announce our winners. I know you're all anxiously waiting for the Adobe Creative Educator Program. So again, this is our global professional development program that has badging and a global community available for educators all around the world. And to get your level 1 badge is really simple. You take a 1-hour course that talks about creativity across the curriculum, regardless of if you're teaching science or math or even digital media or the arts. It's applicable for you. And then we ask you to complete a simple learning artifact, which is a graphic. And even if you don't have any experience previously with graphic design, we have tutorials to help, and Spark Post is very easy to use, so you can create it there. And then we ask that you share it out, again, in the sense of better together, share it out with our global community with hashtag Adobe EDU Creative. So be sure to check that out again. And bit.ly, adobe.ly/ACE, our shortened link. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. But I am going to bring back on everyone again to announce some of our winners. So we'll have a drum roll, please, and a nice kick it off to say goodbye to everybody. So I'll share my screen for each of these because there have been some amazing tweets and comments throughout the rest of today. So first off, I want to say congratulations. I'll do each of these one at a time, and I'll share their so be sure to follow all these folks on Twitter. Amazing resources and content that's shared. So first we have Annie Kumar, who's joining us from India. She shared some great highlights from there. And Annie, what I'm going to say, I'm just going to post our address here. So if you could just email us, adobe.edu-community@adobe.com, we'll be sure to send you your Adobe Creative Educator box. So congratulations to Annie. And then actually there were so many great tweets, we decided to give away 4 instead of 2.
Wow. Yeah.
We're going to go to the next one. So I love how international this
They
crew
should
is.
tag us when they do it. I want to see them unbox it.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. So next, a big congratulations to Nick Hughes, who's joining us from London. And Nick is a Transformer fan, a gamer, tech geek, and primary school teacher. So he shared some great, especially around Al Thomas's content, a great list of creative tools. Excuse me. So thank you to Nick, and be sure to email us Adobe Edu Creative or Adobe Edu Community at adobe.com. We have 2 more, so drum roll, please.
This is that moment.
All righty, so we have 2 more. Next up is Luis Oliveira, joining us from Rhode Island in the U.S., Director of Arts for ELL and Spanish, a tech coach, adjunct professor, and loves Flipgrid and Wakelet. You do too. And Microsoft Innovative Expert Trainer. So thank you so much, Luis, for shared some great content this morning. So please send us an email to claim your box. And we have our very last winner is... Anticipation's killing me. Shannon Moore from California. I'm also in California, Shannon. So nice to connect. Middle school, high school English speech teacher, English department chair, and Tech TOSA in California. So Shannon, thank you so much for sharing. Please be sure to, she shared a few tweets here. Please be sure to reach out to us.
A lot, always. So thank you, Shannon, for being such an awesome community member. We take note, we see you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. With that, it's time to wrap it up and everyone to enjoy their Saturday. Hope everyone is doing
hugs. I mean,
big hug.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Wait, somebody get a picture of
I know,
that.
I'll give it take a screenshot.
Oh, somebody please.
I'll have half a hug as I take the screenshot. Awesome.
Oh, what an incredible morning. Thank you to everybody.
So good.
Great.
But thank you, everybody, for coming. And thank you to all the teachers. We love you. Oh, my God. We're still 400 people in the chat.
Wow.
This is amazing. And then we love you so much. We love this community. We are so better together. So thank you for everything you do. And enjoy, if you are joining us from the U.S., we hope you have a restful Thanksgiving. And time with your immediate family if you can't see your whole family. But we are so grateful for everything that you guys do every single day. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend. I hope this brought a lot of energy to kick off your weekend, and we appreciate everything you do. So thank you, and we will see you on the live stream next week.
And at ISTE, what up?
And at ISTE.
Make it